All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking Auburn football. Look, I was a little busy this week, and I wanted to do a recap of the Auburn versus Massachusetts game. And there was just a lot of things that were going on to where I couldn't get to it. But now it's Wednesday, and we're about to get into the Auburn versus California game. They're going to make the trip out on the West Coast to play against the California Bears, a team that is in the Pac-12, is talking about making a move and probably going to make the move to the ACC. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a couple of other things logistically as we get into this football game. That, okay, you got two unranked teams, but it's causing a lot of conversation. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Down in the Deep South, college football is king. In the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. All right, so California, the Bears are looking to make a move to the ACC. They actually talked about this a few minutes or hours before the game against North Texas. As they traveled to North Texas, beat them 58-21. Kind of smacked them around a little bit. But I got a few questions. Why is a Power 5 team traveling to North Texas to play a football game in the first place? Not throwing shade, but I'm just trying to figure this out. Because if I'm looking at my Auburn Tigers, they are not traveling to SMU in Texas, or they're not traveling to UAB to play a football game. But that's a different conversation. Now, as we look at the trajectory of college football right now and what has been going on, the biggest story in college football is TCU with the loss to Colorado. TCU has taken some huge losses in the last couple of games. They lost epically to Georgia in the national championship game, and then turns around to lose to Colorado at home with a brand new head coach in Deion Sanders. So where does that leave that program? You know, even one of their players goes on to say, "Hey, we're just not doing good right now." Excuse me. Florida State. This was one of the games that I thought would be a huge game in college football. Top 10 matchup. Florida State versus LSU. Man, it looked good at first, but Florida State went on to shellac LSU. There's a video going viral of LSU's quarterback making an attempt to run and just getting plowed in the middle of it. It was just bad. They got beat really bad. And then you talk about Florida. Florida, one of the storied programs in college football. Horrible loss to Utah. It was just bad. 24-11 there on the road. Clemson. Okay, so my God, let me. I'm kind of scratching my head on this one. Clemson against Duke loses 28-7. And I don't get it. I don't get it. But it's also been said that Dabo Swinney is not trying to take advantage of the transfer. He's just against it. But here's the thing. Everybody else is taking advantage. And you're not. And it's not helping you. Being a contrarian, how is that helping you and your program? So, let's get on to this Auburn versus California game. Okay, of course, Auburn will have to travel 2,400 and something miles to play this team. And when you look at what California is going to have to do, even to play in the ACC conference, that's going to be brutal, in my opinion. Because look, I get it for a football game, but let's just say Cal is in the ACC. You got basketball games every other night. You're having to travel cross country to play a basketball game, to play a baseball game, to play a volleyball game. Make it make sense. But I digress. They got a quarterback in Ben Finley, who was 24-34 for 279 yards. You know, I think they have the ability to move the football, but they did it against North Texas. North Texas has been depleted somewhat by the transfer portal. They did get one thing I like about this California team is that they're very opportunistic, one fumble recovery, and 3 interceptions. North Texas just couldn't get anything going. They even fell for there was a play in the red zone, excuse me, where all the offensive linemen lined up to the left side of the football field. Of course, they were legally in play on scrimmage. And then they fell for North Texas fell for an out route from the tight end for a touchdown. I'm like, who are y'all playing against that falls for this? Untouched, but that's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Now, from the Auburn Tiger standpoint, Austin Keys, linebacker from Ole Miss that transferred to Auburn with immediate eligibility, might not be available for this game against Cal. I think that will be a big hit. So I'm trying to figure out who Auburn is going to put in his spot. Maybe Cam Riley, who had some pretty good reps as an inside linebacker last year. I'm thinking, maybe Asante or Wesley Steiner in that spot with some supplement, especially with what Auburn was able to do with the star linebacker and creating some turnovers there. So I just really don't know. But I will say this. California has made some efforts to upgrade their football team with Barrett Miller from Stanford, Brian Hightower, I think a pretty good one, 6'3" from Illinois. He was a former 4+ star recruit. And Marquez Dortch, running back from Oregon, Byron Cardwell. So I think California is in a position to make this a really good football game. I think this could be one of the best non-ranked football games of the week. And plus, you got some trash talk that we're going to talk about in another video that it could possibly make some bulletin board material from California when they talk about Auburn. And one thing about Auburn, when you play them, here's the skinny on that. When you're an out-of-conference team playing Auburn, you beat them, you beat a good SEC team. It's a team is going to bring a good crowd. It's a team that's going to bring some good ratings from a TV standpoint. And it's a team that, when you talk about the elitism of the SEC and Auburn being one of the faces of the SEC, you can actually beat Auburn. And when you beat them, it's actually a big deal. But the problem is they got a new coach. They got Hugh Freeze that has done his homework, that has done the things that he needs to do to put this team in a position to be successful. Some of the guys that I'm looking at is, look, is Jarquez Hunter going to be back? If he is, that's a big problem for California. If there are some packages that will get Shane Hooks from Jackson State in a different position, that's going to be a big problem. We got the prediction show coming tomorrow for this particular football game, and the California fans may not like it. Like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.